week. So a little bit of Ultrabook news. We've just started recording kind of prior to our live session tonight, just 5 minutes. So I want to give you a quick update on market status. It seems now that all the Ultrabooks except the HP DM3 are in the market now in various places around the world. UK, Germany, Holland, Italy, USA, Australia. Not all of them are available anywhere. For example, it's, I think, difficult to still find the Z830 in Europe. It's shipped out of Asia, but it hasn't actually hit the shelves yet in many cases. The Lenovo U300S is also a little bit thin on the ground. So it's kind of interesting when you look at the predictions for the sales numbers this year, and then you think how many devices actually hit the shelves this year. It was actually very late. This is first week of December, and I doubt they've hit many of their targets, to be honest. Someone said they were at Best Buy and saw 3 Ultrabooks on display, so that's good. I think Best Buy are one of the kind of premium resellers for Ultrabooks. They have the Z835, which is a little bit of a deal with Intel, I think. It has the Intel AppUp client on it, pre-installed, which is actually branded Best Buy client. So that was a Best Buy special, I think. But anyway, it's good to know they have. On the HP then, it's supposed to be available in December. I haven't had any details yet on the DM3, but I'm going to try and chase down availability. It has to happen in the next couple of weeks if they want to catch the Christmas trade. And I'm sure it will. It could be an interesting one. It's slightly heavier, but then it's got the bigger battery in it and the big connectors. So like the Z830, if you're into something that's got the connectors plus a big dot of battery, I know it's got a little bit more than average in it. That could be the one to go for. I've seen some price drops already. I think there were some Cyber Monday offers on the Acer S3. I saw some tweets about $100 to $200 off of that at one point. I don't know whether they were just spam tweets, but certainly in Europe some of the prices have started to drop down from their initial recommended retail prices. Not by much, €20 in some cases, but it's an indication that sales are starting to happen and people are trying to fight for position in the comparison engines. So effectively they'll cut their margins down to where the distributor then drops his price, and then you'll see, I reckon very shortly after Christmas we could see $50 to $100 off all the current Ultrabooks as CES approaches with the next gen. Of course, anyone that learns about the next gen is going to maybe hold back on the current gen, although there's definitely going to be some time before the next gen come out. And CES, they're talking about 30 to 50 Ultrabooks. Now that will be including the Ultrabooks of 2011. It will also be included the kind of prototypes, the demonstrators, so expect to see a few swivel screens, a few touch screens, and maybe some sort of demonstrator of how a Haswell based device might look. Maybe made out of clay, but I'm sure that will be on stage as well. So if you think about taking those into account and variations on those models and rebrands of those models from, for example, Lenovo rebranding to Medion or something similar to that, probably only about 10 new devices I would expect for 2011 CES that will launch from 10 major manufacturers. We'll probably see Dell, Fujitsu come into the market, MSI, maybe Sony, and maybe Samsung with a relaunch as well. So there's 4 or 5, and then maybe the smaller companies, Packard Bell. We might see the new stuff from Asus and Acer as well. So that will be interesting. I'm going to CES. It starts on the 7th of January. And I have to thank Intel for that, because they're supporting Ultrabooknews to get over there. And we'll be tracking them and getting involved with some of their press events as well. So not only those press events, but the press events in general. So you can expect some good news from Ultrabooknews. If not the first, the best, right? So the other thing we'll see at CES is hear about the new tech. So we're probably going to hear about Smart Connect. McAfee will probably talk about anti-theft stuff again. We'll also hear about new software, I'm sure, and I think AppUp, the App Store from Intel, will be there either as branded stores on Ultrabooks or they'll be demonstrating new software. Remember, they have the 100 million Intel Capital Fund that they can use to invest in software companies or companies around the ecosystem. So they might be using that to invest in some software houses, some of the smaller ones, to bring software into AppUp. So that could be quite interesting if they get some decent brands and decent apps into the AppUp, because what I'm hoping is that the crapware will be distributed by AppUp, so it'll be an instant removal process, and you can just get rid of that instantly. That will make it a very nice, clean install and first use process if they do that. That's pretty much it. The only thing I wanted to say was there was quite a bit of bullshit this week about a $100 price subsidy by Intel. Forget that. From day one it was clear that Intel will be supporting the marketing and advertising activities for the manufacturers and not directly subsidizing the devices. That would be suicide by Intel if they were going to do that. We've seen them get into trouble in the past with that sort of stuff, so there's no way they would have done that. That was a Digitimes remash of some information and spun into a way that sounded like they were they were subsidizing per device 100. In fact, what it is, it's if you look at the numbers that have sold, the amount of marketing subsidy that's going in, they've just divided one by the other and come up with 100 per device. But of course that will be generic advertising, etc, etc, etc. So forget that £100 price subsidy story. The other thing I wanted to mention was Ivy Bridge, second half of 2012 is my prediction for when we get the next gen Ultrabooks, and the reason for that is we'll see Ivy Bridge in standard desktop and mobile versions first, I'm sure. We'll then see the ULV, the first of those, come out probably through Apple like they did last year, so there's probably going to be some handshaking going on in the background and hand helping as Intel give them maybe first dibs on the ULV Ivy Bridge processor that come out, help them design the new MacBook Airs, maybe up to 15-inch. And then you'll probably see after that the Ultrabooks get hold of them, unless someone big like Samsung gets in and does some deals for early ULV stuff. They did that last year with the 900 series, which is what we're going to show you after this. So that's a roundup of just some of the news from this week, and I want to do that in the live sessions as we go on. We've got the Acer S3 coming next week for a live session. We've got the Toshiba coming as well, the Z830. So I'll give you a little bit of an update each time we do those live sessions. We record those and put those up on YouTube. That also helps me because I can slap an advert on them. Thanks for watching this part. I'm going to stop this recording now. Hang around in the chat if you're watching live. We're going to go into the Samsung Series 9 live review.